Thank you all for being here first and foremost. My name is Tanya Austin, and I am a U.S. Army veteran, but I am not here speaking about my own story today. I am actually here to give a story of an incredibly strong and brave individual. This is a story of a female in the Coast Guard who was raped and then discharged and punished for being raped. I've been lucky enough to meet this young woman and see the amazing things she has done to bring not only her story out, but the story of men and women who have been raped in the military. If you guys could throw up the website, please. What we have up here is stopmilitaryrape.com, or .org, sorry. And what's really cool about this website is it was this individual's way of telling her story and trying to make progress because the military didn't do anything to help her. So finally she decided, well, if the military won't help me, I'm going to help me and everyone like me. As you see there on the home page, these are some really frightening statistics. 25% of women will be sexually assaulted on college campuses. 12% of women will be raped while in college. 28 to 60%, 66% of women in the military report sexual assault. The reason the number varies so much is military reports versus VA reports. It's a lot easier to tell someone at the VA that you've been sexually assaulted than it is to tell your own command, which is not right. And 27% of women are reported raped. And what's interesting about this statistic is if you report that you've been raped and no charges are brought against your rapist, you haven't been raped. You're not part of that statistic. And unfortunately, for our military, this is something that happens way too often, is the cover-up of sexual assault, of rape, of individuals experiencing the worst from their comrades. And if we can scroll down on the page, please, a little farther. A little bit farther. All right, right there. So here is what they're currently doing about it. According to the Department of Defense's own statistics, 74 to 85% of soldiers convicted of rape or sexual assault leave the military with an honorable discharge, meaning rape conviction does not appear in their records anywhere. Only 2 to 3% of soldiers accused of rape are ever court-martialed, and only 5 to 6% of soldiers accused of domestic abuse are ever court-martialed. In fact, several multiple homicides have recently taken place on military bases that have not even been criminally prosecuted. The Department of Defense's definition of morale booster for male soldiers: female soldiers. Take as needed, disposed when finished, and continue serving with honor. Please remember that many suffer in silent shame and never forget what's going on. Now I'd like to tell this individual's particular story. And having experienced sexual harassment in the military myself, this is kind of difficult, as it is for everyone on this panel up here. But our stories need to be told. We are often asked how we get started with Stop Military Rape Crisis Center. I am a veteran of the United States Coast Guard and a survivor of military sexual trauma. I was raped in May of 2006 by a fellow shipmate. I followed all the necessary steps, including reporting the assault and providing evidence, a confession letter written by my rapist. In August of 2006, I was informed that I'll be discharged. According to the Coast Guard Academy psychologist, surviving rape makes one ineligible for worldwide deployment, and as a result, I can no longer serve in the Coast Guard. What follows was a 9-month battle between the Coast Guard and myself while I tried to keep my job and change the Coast Guard's unofficial policy that rape survivors should be allowed to serve in the Coast Guard. I was a female in my early 20s, brand new to the Coast Guard. I admitted I did not know every Coast Guard policy or tried to know something beyond my E3 rank. All I know is that what was happening to me was just not right. I felt powerless. I didn't know how to fight the military. I was taught how to fight with them, for them, but how can I fight for my rights to stay with them? Out of the need to vent and needing an outlet to express the horror I was experiencing as a result of being raped, I started an online blog on MySpace. I was not expecting much of it. I just wanted to let out all the pain in me and share with the public. I almost immediately started receiving emails from active duty military members and veterans alike, each wanting to share their story. Everybody's story was so different yet so similar. I received one email from an 18-year-old female who was raped 2 hours prior by a member of her command and was scared and had no one else to turn to. I received an email from a Coast Guard veteran who was raped 10+ years ago while serving, and I was the first person he ever told. I started doing research online about military rape. I learned about tailhook and read the brave story of Army Specialist Suzanne Swift. What was happening to me in the Coast Guard was very common and had been going on for a long time. I knew that I was in for the biggest battle of my life. I could not abandon my fellow men and women in uniform. Something's got to change. Stop Military Rape and the Military Rape Crisis Center was formed. We are the nation's largest support group for the survivors of military sexual trauma. In 2007, we assisted over 12,000 men and women of military sexual trauma and their families. We are starting to work with Congress to change the military policy of sexual assault. Every man and woman that volunteer to serve their country should have the right to serve without the fear of being sexually assaulted, harassed, and/or raped. In addition, no one should be reprimanded or punished for reporting a crime that was done to them. May 30th is International Stop Military Rape Awareness Day. Write to your representatives, contact the media, do what we're doing now, and let them know that military rape is something we just can't stand for. This young woman is remarkable. Her story powerful. And unfortunately, because of time, we can't tell her whole story. But every person up here has a story to tell. Every veteran out there, every active duty member that's sitting in this audience knows someone that has either been assaulted or raped or harassed. And that has got to change.